All right. So you've been looking into this NEBOSH general certificate, right? And
Yeah.
we've got this article that you sent over,
Yeah,
and it's definitely, pushing all the benefits.
it is.
But I guess that's what marketing is for, right?
Absolutely.
So let's try to cut through all that noise
Yeah.
and figure out if this is really worth the time and the money and
Sure.
what you would really get out of it.
Well, it's interesting you say that because one thing about NEBOSH is it's not just like another online course you can find.
Okay.
It's got this global reputation as like the gold standard in health and safety.
Mm.
And that means something to employers,
Oh, okay.
So it's a signal that you got this prudent level of knowledge.
So like a Michelin star, but for workplace safety.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like that analogy.
Right.
It's like you've reached a certain level of rigor and quality.
Okay.
This training goes through experts in the field, make sure it's up to date. It's
Right.
relevant to what employers actually need.
So no like dusty old textbooks or outdated theories?
Not at all.
Okay.
What you learn is going to be practical stuff.
Okay.
You can apply this immediately in your workplace.
Got it.
And it applies no matter what industry you're in,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah. That is, this article really pushes the whole career benefits angle.
Yeah.
Is it really like a golden ticket to a promotion?
Yeah.
A fatter paycheck?
Let's be realistic.
Sure.
Just getting the certificate doesn't automatically mean a raise.
Right.
But I think it's more about the skills you gain. NEBOSH gives you the tools to actually make a real difference in your workplace, and that is valuable to employers.
So it's more about becoming an asset than just checking a box on your resume.
Exactly. And that brings us to the specifics of what you'll actually learn.
Okay.
The article mentions 6 key skills. Things like reducing workplace injuries, proactively identifying and controlling hazards,
Yeah.
even understanding how to measure those safety improvements that you're making.
Those sound pretty concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm curious, how do they translate into real-world scenarios?
Okay.
Let's say you're working in a busy warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
How do those skills play out?
Well, imagine you're walking through that warehouse and you see this stack of boxes precariously balanced
Oh, no.
right near a busy aisle.
Okay.
Now, with your NEBOSH training, you wouldn't just shrug and walk by.
Right.
You would recognize that as a potential hazard.
Right. And you wouldn't just hope someone else deals with it.
Right. You'd take action.
Okay.
You'd use that risk assessment process that you learned in the course to analyze the situation.
So you break it down.
Yeah, you'd think about the likelihood of those boxes falling,
Uh-huh.
the potential consequences if someone were in the way,
Ouch.
and then you'd come up with some control measures.
Like maybe putting up a barrier or
Easy.
finding a safer way to store them.
Yeah, and that's just one example.
Right.
It could be anything from faulty equipment
Right.
to recognizing the need for better safety signage.
Yeah.
NEBOSH gives you the framework to analyze those risks and make your workplace safer.
Okay. So that's the risk assessment part.
Right.
The article also mentioned hazard control.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of a massive
It's
area?
a huge area.
There are a million ways to get hurt at work.
There are, but that's where the training comes in.
Okay.
NEBOSH helps you understand different types of hazard controls.
Okay.
Things like engineering controls, administrative controls, and personal protective equipment.
Wait, hold on. Those sound kind of technical.
Sure.
Can we break those down?
Yeah.
What exactly is an engineering control?
Yeah, so an engineering control is about changing the physical environment
Okay.
to eliminate or reduce the hazard.
Got it.
Think of things like machine guards on equipment,
Yeah.
ventilation systems to remove fumes, or even ergonomic workstations
Nice.
to prevent injuries.
So you're literally engineering out the danger.
Exactly.
What about administrative controls?
Those are more about procedures and practices.
Okay.
Think about safety training programs.
Regular inspections or even rotating workers between tasks
Okay.
to minimize exposure to hazards.
Right, so less about physical changes and more about changing the way people work.
Exactly.
Got it.
And then you have personal protective equipment, or PPE for short,
Right.
which is your last line of defense.
Okay.
This includes things like safety glasses, hard hats, and gloves. NEBOSH teaches you how to select the right PPE for different hazards
Okay.
and how to make sure it's being used properly.
So it's a holistic approach from big structural changes to individual safety measures.
Absolutely. It gives you that multi-layered understanding of how to keep people safe.
That's really cool.
What's really interesting is it goes beyond just that technical stuff.
Okay.
It emphasizes building a safety-first culture in the workplace.
That sounds like a pretty crucial element.
It is.
Because even with the best safety equipment and procedures,
Yeah.
things can still go wrong if people aren't on board. Absolutely. A strong safety culture is about creating an environment where everyone takes responsibility for safety. It's about open communication.
Got it.
Encouraging people to report hazards without fear of retribution.
But isn't that easier said than done?
It is definitely a challenge.
How do you actually shift a whole workplace's mindset towards safety?
It is a challenge, but the NEBOSH training provides some valuable insights.
Okay.
It helps you understand those principles of a strong safety culture and equips you to advocate for that change.
Okay.
You learn how to communicate the importance of safety to management,
Yeah.
not just from a moral standpoint, but also from a financial perspective.
So you're not just a safety advocate. You're like a safety business consultant.
You could say that.
Okay.
You know, a strong safety culture has tangible benefits. Fewer accidents mean lower insurance premiums,
Right.
reduced downtime,
Right.
increased productivity. And when you can articulate those benefits to your boss, it makes a much stronger case for investing in safety.
I'm starting to see how this NEBOSH certificate could be more than just a piece of paper.
Right.
It's like a toolkit for changing the way people think about safety.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just about learning rules. It's about becoming a leader and driving positive change.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good note to end on for this part.
Okay.
We'll come back and talk about the rest later.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we've talked about the skills you can learn and,
Right.
the whole culture shift thing.
Yeah.
But let's be honest.
Okay.
This article really does mention a higher salary, like it's a big benefit.
It does.
Is there any truth to that?
Well, it's tricky.
Okay.
There's no guarantee that you'll get an automatic pay bump just because you've got this certificate.
Right.
But I think it's helpful to think about it this way.
Okay.
You are becoming more valuable to your company.
How so?
Well, you're the one who can spot those risks.
Uh-huh.
You can mitigate them. You're potentially saving them a ton of money.
Right. But how do you actually demonstrate that value?
That's a good question.
You can't just walk into your boss's office and be like, hey, I prevented 5 accidents this month, so give me a raise.
Right.
It doesn't quite work that way.
No, it doesn't. But the training does give you some ammunition.
Oh.
For one thing, it really enhances those leadership abilities.
Okay.
You're not just following orders anymore.
Right.
You're proactively identifying problems and finding solutions.
You're not a rule follower.
Yeah.
You're like a problem solver.
Exactly. And that is valuable in any employee.
Okay.
Plus, you can start speaking the language of business.
In what way?
Well, you can show your boss how a strong safety culture is going to impact their bottom line. Fewer accidents means lower insurance, costs less downtime, higher productivity.
I'm seeing a theme here.
What's that?
It's not just safety for the sake of safety.
Right.
It's like safety is a smart business strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The more you can demonstrate that understanding, the more valuable you become to an employer.
That makes sense.
The article even suggests keeping a record of all the achievements you're making.
Like what kind of things?
Well, how you've improved safety procedures or how you've reduced accident rates.
So it's not about bragging.
No.
It's about having proof.
It's about having that concrete evidence of the impact you're having.
Like a portfolio of safety wins.
Exactly. And you can use that during performance reviews or salary negotiations.
That's fine.
To show how your knowledge has directly benefited the company.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
even beyond the financial aspect, there's something really empowering.
About what?
About taking ownership of safety in your workplace.
I can see that. It's
Yeah.
like you're not just going through the motions. You're actively shaping the environment.
Exactly. And that can have a ripple effect.
How so?
When you start prioritizing safety, other people are going to take notice.
Yeah.
It can inspire your colleagues to be more mindful, to speak up about concerns and participate in creating that safer workplace.
Okay, so let's say you're totally on board.
Okay.
You're ready to be the safety champion.
Uh-huh.
But how do you convince your boss to pay for this training?
Right.
Because some managers might just see it as an unnecessary expense.
And that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
The article has some advice for how to approach your manager.
Okay, what is it?
Well, first of all, do your homework.
Okay.
Don't just go in with this vague request.
All right.
Identify the specific challenges in your workplace that this training can address.
So instead of saying, hey, I want to take this cool course,
Yeah.
you say, we've had 3 near misses in the loading dock this month, and this training can help us prevent serious accidents.
There you go.
Okay.
Frame it in terms of problems and solutions.
Got it.
And be realistic about the budget. Find out what resources are available,
Yeah?
how your request fits into the bigger picture.
So maybe don't spring it on them right before a big project.
Right, or when budgets are tight. And most importantly,
No.
focus on that return on investment.
Okay.
How is this training going to ultimately save the company money?
Right. Will it reduce insurance premiums,
Exactly.
minimize downtime, improve productivity?
All of that.
So it's all about connecting the dots between safety and the bottom line.
Yeah, if you can show your boss how investing in your NEBOSH training is a smart business decision, you're much more likely to get their approval.
It's interesting that this whole conversation is like a deep dive in itself.
It is, isn't it?
We're really unpacking what the certificate represents.
Yeah.
It's more than just a piece of paper.
It's about acquiring that knowledge, developing those skills,
Right.
and ultimately shifting your mindset
To what?
to that proactive and preventative approach to safety.
And that shift can have a huge impact on your career, on your workplace, even your own sense of empowerment.
Absolutely. It's about becoming a leader, an advocate, and a champion for safety.
So as we wrap up, I'm curious, like what stands out to you about NEBOSH?
You know, it is fascinating how it goes beyond just getting a certificate. It really is a whole new way of thinking about safety, you know?
Yeah.
Being proactive, taking ownership.
It sounds like it's about empowering yourself with the knowledge to make a real difference, not just ticking boxes.
Exactly. And it's about joining this whole community
Oh, yeah?
of people who are passionate about safety,
Right.
you know, who want to make workplaces better for everyone.
You know, thinking about everything we've talked about makes me wonder, like, what kind of impact could you, the listener, have with this knowledge? Could you be the one who spots that hidden hazard?
Right.
Or implements a new procedure that prevents an accident?
Absolutely.
Could you be the catalyst for a better safety culture in your own workplace?
For sure.
It's pretty exciting to consider all those possibilities.
It is. And, you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
If this has sparked your interest at all, I encourage you to explore further. NEBOSH's website is a great resource.
Okay.
There's tons of information out there about the general certificate, the other courses that they offer.
And hey, if you do decide to take the plunge and get your NEBOSH certification,
Please.
come back and tell us how it goes.
Yeah, let us know.
We'd love to hear about it.
We would.
But in the meantime, I think I'm going to do a little risk assessment of my own
Oh, yeah.
right here in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Who knew podcasting could be so hazardous?
Haha. You might be surprised what you find.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed,
Stay safe.
and above all, stay safe out there.